In the heart of the city where neon lights flickered like restless ghosts and loyalty was bought with blood instead of gold, the name of Victor Romano carried the weight of fear. Men whispered it in dark alleyways. Judges avoided it in courtrooms. Police chiefs pretended it didn't exist. Victor Romano was not just a mafia boss, he was an empire wrapped in a tailored black suit, a storm disguised as a man. Yet inside the marble walls of his mansion, beyond the iron gates and armed guards, there lived a silence so heavy it could crush steel. That silence belonged to his daughter, Sofia. Once, Sofia Romano had been the light of his world. She had raced through the mansion gardens, laughter echoing against fountains carved from Italian stone. She had clung to his hand when thunderstorms frightened her. She had believed her father was a hero. But the accident changed everything. A car explosion meant for Victor had taken his wife and left Sofia crippled from the waist down. The doctors tried. The surgeons flew in from 3 countries. Specialists promised miracles. But the verdict was merciless: she would never walk again. From that day forward, Victor Romano, the man who commanded armies of criminals without blinking, could not command fate. He could not threaten destiny. He could not bribe heaven. Sofia stopped smiling. She stopped speaking. The piano in the grand hall gathered dust. Her wheelchair became her prison. And Victor, who once ruled the streets with iron fists, now stood helpless outside his daughter's bedroom door every night, listening to her sob in the dark. He blamed himself. He blamed his enemies. He blamed the world. But guilt is a poison no empire can dilute. One evening, during a lavish dinner meant to entertain business partners, the mansion trembled with the crash of porcelain. Guests froze. Crystal glasses shook. Another crash followed. Then another. Victor stood slowly, his jaw tightening. The guards moved instinctively, but he raised a hand to stop them. He knew that sound. It was Sofia. He walked into the dining hall where Sofia sat in her wheelchair, her face pale but blazing with fury. On the floor lay shattered plates, fragments scattered like broken dreams. Her trembling hands clutched another plate, and before anyone could move, she hurled it against the wall. The sound echoed like gunfire. "I hate this," she screamed. "I hate this house. I hate these walls. I hate you." The words pierced Victor deeper than any bullet ever could. The guests stared in horror. No one had ever spoken to Victor Romano like that and lived. But this was his daughter. His broken angel. He dismissed the guests with a silent glare. The room emptied within seconds. Sofia began knocking plates off the table, one after another. Each crash was a cry of pain she couldn't put into words. Victor didn't yell. He didn't punish. He just stood there, frozen by the helplessness he despised. Suddenly, a soft voice cut through the chaos. "Sir, please." It was Elena, the maid. Elena had worked in the mansion for 3 years. Quiet. Observant. Invisible, almost. She came from a small village far from the city's corruption. She cleaned the floors that criminals walked on and dusted the furniture that heard secret deals. But she also noticed Sofia's tears when no one else did. Elena walked toward Sofia slowly, ignoring Victor's warning stare. "Miss Sofia," she whispered gently, kneeling beside her wheelchair. "It's okay to be angry." Sofia glared at her, breathing heavily. "You don't understand," she shouted. Elena nodded softly. "You're right. I don't understand your pain. But I understand what it feels like to lose something." Victor watched in disbelief. No one spoke to his daughter like that. No one dared to approach her when she was in a rage. Yet Elena did not flinch. She did not tremble. Instead, she picked up a broken shard of porcelain and placed it in Sofia's hand. "Look at this," she said calmly. "It's broken. But it still shines." Sofia stared at the fragment. Tears welled in her eyes. "I'm not porcelain," she whispered bitterly. Elena looked at her gently. "No. You're stronger. The room fell silent except for Sophia's uneven breathing. Victor felt something unfamiliar rise in his chest. Hope. Tiny. Fragile. Dangerous. But then something unexpected happened. Sophia tried to push herself up from the wheelchair in frustration. Her body trembled violently, and she nearly fell. Elena reacted instantly, catching her before she hit the floor. In that moment, Elena's hand clasped Victor's hand as she steadied herself. It was accidental. But the contact sent a shock through the room. Guards stepped forward. Victor's men stiffened. No one touched Victor Romano without permission. Yet Elena's hand remained in his for a brief second. She didn't pull away in fear. She didn't beg forgiveness. She simply looked at him, directly into his eyes. And Victor froze. For the first time in years, someone looked at him not with fear, not with greed, not with hatred, but with sincerity. Elena spoke firmly, her voice steady. "Sir, she doesn't need more doctors. She needs you." The words struck harder than any insult. Victor opened his mouth to respond, but nothing came out. Elena continued, her tone unwavering.